Family, so glad to be with you. I'm so excited because I finally got my sound right, where when I talk to you it turns down and I can actually turn down the music and we can keep the party going. It took me a minute to figure that out, and I've been working on it, especially because I started the streaming. And yeah, so when I'm streaming the games, when I play games, man, playing that music in the background and it would never get quiet. It was crazy. So glad to be back with you. I missed you last week. Book club was exciting. We started the what are we reading now? I forgot, family. The Alchemist. That's right. And I love it. And as a matter of fact, I've been thinking about ways that we can probably try to include book club more, where it could be more of a conversation outside of who has joined the live. Let me see. Hold on one second, family. Somebody done click the link to join the live, so we gonna see. Let me fix my camera. No. We're gonna check see if it's somebody interesting. Yeah, I gotta figure this out. Oh, they changed their minds. Never mind. Hey, family, we getting to the point where I'm going to definitely start having the link available so people can join. We used to do that, but we got a little bit away from it. Um, but yeah, we're gonna get back to it, and it notified me, but I gotta set it up. I guess I gotta do that studio mode thing so I can check them out before we go live. Hold on, what's going on now? Let me fix my camera, family. Don't worry. It's one of the issues, man. Technology, but decided that we need to figure out a way to make book club more of a conversation, and why not include it in a Tuesday night show? So, like I was saying, generally on Tuesday, since we read the book on Thursday, we'll have a little period of time where we talk about it and maybe give some insights, or if you got some input or something that you want to say, don't hesitate to say those things. Because family, we're healing together. If you're new, glad to have you here with us. We've been doing this for a minute now. So the show is all about healing and connecting with your energy. We are on a segment called trauma right now. Um, but the start of every show, we take time to do some breathing exercises and a visualization and some affirmations. So we were on Crown. And once we finish the Terrence brother, I appreciate you as always. Um, yeah, I got something I probably need to chat with you about um to help relieve some stress out your life, brother. But I'll reach out to you. So as you know, like I was saying, we're going to um do our breathing exercises, and we are on our crown chakra, and yeah, that's nice. Where's my crown at? Let's say third eye. I thought I was missing something. One, two, three, four. Oh, huh. Had it been a snake, it would have bit me. Right? I already moved it. So anyway, these are my little cheat sheets. I don't always need it. If I didn't find the crown, I would have moved on without it. But I definitely want to give some elements. So the crown chakra, your crown energy point resides right above your head. But for our purposes, we'll put our hands somewhere on our head, get in a comfortable position. When we do these breathing exercises, the element for your crown is thought. So our visualization will allow us to think. So I think this week I feel like 369. So we're going to do 369 breathing. I brought my drum out too, so I felt like doing a little bit of drum. We generally do the bowl first. So man, I almost forgot something to step. Jay, appreciate you, black man, as always. Um, y'all, if you see these brothers, man, follow them. They got a lot of science. They share a lot of information on their page. So take the opportunity to follow them. I'm gonna start with the bowl, but I'm gonna bring out my drum because I don't know. I've been playing with it all day. me. I got so much going on across the desk. Um, yeah, I use this desk for several things, but sound bowl for your throat. Now I'm gonna bust out my big drum. Really, that's the one I've been having a good time with today. And I definitely want to say, if some of these instruments appeal to you, and hey, Liberty, you not at work, girl? You know, I almost text you to tell you because I'm so excited because I can do stuff like this now. Turn the music up and talk over it, and it turns down like it's supposed to. But we've been trying to do that for a minute, so glad to have you in for a second on Facebook. Ooh, Lord. So if the instruments speak to you, don't feel like you have to know how to play the instrument. Some of it is just being playful, allowing your imagination to expand. It's real good for your crown. Create thought, which is the element for your crown. And essentially, just do what feels good to you. And this drum gets extra loud. Okay. Hey! Congrats for the NSYNC lunch. Something about that key that's been sticking with me today. So we're gonna do the 369. Remember how it goes. We breathe in through our nose, hold it for 3 seconds, then out through our mouth. On my count of three, and we repeat it for 6 and 9. So on my count of three, breathe in through your nose and then out through your mouth. All right. So 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. Hold it for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Breathe out. One more time for 6 seconds. My count of three. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. Hold it for 6 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe out. Last time. My count of three. Breathe in. Hold it for 9 seconds. Then breathe out. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. Hold it for 9 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Breathe out. All right, so now at this moment, you can place your hands on your head. And we're going to do a visualization. Somewhat of a thought web. So close your eyes and imagine yourself standing in a space of complete darkness. And in the distance, in that darkness, you see what looks to be a dot. that is coming towards you. And as it gets closer to you, the dot gets bigger and bigger and bigger to the point that you can see a word written on it. And on that word, on that dot, the word you see is worthy. And as you see that word worthy on that dot of light, I want you to think of all the words that you can think of that define worthy for you. Sacrifice, resilience, qualified, aptitude. And as you look and you describe worthy, you see the person that brought you that light and that word is you. Visualize yourself standing there holding worthy and tell yourself all the words that you use to describe worthy. Tell yourself those words to remind you how worthy you are. And now I want you to take a moment and repeat after me. I am divine. I am connected to the universe. I am at peace. I am a spiritual being. I release doubt and welcome faith. I am divine. I am connected to the universe. I am at peace. I am a spiritual being. I release doubt and welcome faith. Okay, so we're gonna continue our conversations. Let me switch up. So yeah, we're gonna pick up where we left off last week. Well, not necessarily where we left off. I think we talked a little bit about, well, we're on trauma now, and it's certain specific things that I want to really talk about as far as it relates to trauma and how trauma becomes a part of us. It's a sneaky little thing, you know what I mean? And the main ways that trauma becomes a part of our essence and who we are as people is due to the frequency and the intensity of that event, right? And once it becomes a part of our, for lack of better words, routine and our daily functions in life, it then becomes sort of like invisible to us, right? And the wild thing about it is the perfect example of how our traumas become invisible to us is how we kind of cope and relate to our environments. Like I remember I told you the story about I was dating this girl and she went out, and unfortunately while she was out, someone wound up getting shot. She had never experienced something like that. And to me, it was a regular occurrence. So when she called and told me about it, I was like, okay. I was like, okay. And she was crying and I mean, just emotionally distraught over it. And it took me asking her, was this her first time, to realize how disconnected I was from situations like that. Because where I grew up in certain aspects of my life, it became a norm, right? And I spoke about how I grew up in the crack era. So that was very interesting time. But even as we ended that, I had friends pass or unalived ever since seventh grade. Some of the most tragic ways that you can think of. So a way to cope with those things, you create a certain level of emotional disconnection, right? But you don't realize that because it becomes your norm. Or when I talked about being a teacher, one of the most difficult things for me when I was a teacher or in the classroom, because I still call myself an educator, but when I was in the classroom, one of the most difficult things to deal with was losing those kids every year. You put in all this effort, all this work, all this time, love, and energy, and you may never see that person again. So to be able to be successful as a teacher, there was a certain level of emotional disconnect that I had to do to be able to endure losing people that I loved, that I grew to love, that grew to love me. Hospitals, doctors, nurses, police, EMTs, all these people are in trauma type careers that for the most part force them to create a certain level of emotional disconnect. So now that's one way that our trauma has changed us and we created emotional disconnect. And we layers those disconnect. Another example is how we decide who and what was good. Our level of good, I'm a good person, that's a good situation, is rooted in our trauma. So I seen online they were talking about people who call themselves good mates because they were able to stand beside bad mates, whether it be enduring cheating, whether it be enduring some sort of abuse, whether it be enduring emotional disconnecting, whatever. So because they were able to endure that or do the things that they thought were necessary, we assume that we are good. But if we're good to bad people, are we really good? Or is that even the measure that we want to use to judge our level of goodness? Who we've attached ourselves to. the pain we've endured, and the emotional disconnection that we had to do to either cope with it or survive it. So now we got two layers of emotional disconnected. We got it in our career. We got it in our relationships on how we base our level of goodness. You know, I remember I had a friend, right? He had his first child a little bit older, which is not a problem. And we grew up with another friend that had 4 children by the time my homeboy had his new baby. And I remember the advice my friend gave our other friend was, this is his first child. He was like, hey, whatever you do, get another job. Like that way, you ain't got to worry about changing diapers or being there. Just go to work. And although that advice was rooted in love, as interesting as it is, how we talk about the road to hell is paved with good intentions, it was rooted in love. It was also founded in trauma. The advice we give to people based on those traumatic relationships also become the trauma we give to other people. Is how we pass our trauma on. So be careful of those people who, in the best intentions, give you advice based on their traumatic experiences. So now we got advice, we got career, we got relationships. I think I'm a funny person. And if you ever have the opportunity to meet me in real life, you're going to laugh. I learned somewhere that children, like 4-year-olds, laugh like 700 times a day. And the average adult laughs like 2-3 times a day. And my thing has always been, if you're around me, you're going to laugh at least 17 times because it's good for your spirit. And I am the type of person that essentially can make even some of the most painful situations humorous. I can allow you to see the silver lining. And that's a great thing. And I'm so confident in that ability to make people laugh and to see that I say it is me. Because it is me. But in being honest, the part of me that is funny is grounded in trauma. And I learned a lot of times that from comedians, and I think we might even talked about it last week, how comedians, I forget the comedian name. He said they asked him if he's depressed. And he said, you should ask, were my parents depressed? In some families, to be able to navigate the trauma of the family, you become funny, right? So that's one thing for me. And I remember the day so vividly that I became funny. And I know for a fact it was to navigate my family dynamics. I wasn't the biggest, so I wasn't gonna be able to beat everybody. And you best believe I dang sure tried to fight them. I wasn't the smartest at this point because I ain't the oldest. Like, it's people years ahead of me, so they have a wealth of knowledge that I don't tap into. And we laugh and we joke about how we pick at each other, our family members, our cousins, our siblings, our brothers and sisters, and we don't realize that some of that laughing is our trauma response to coping with hearing those things about ourselves. Like, we found you in the garbage can, right? It's laughing. We can laugh about that now. But I remember the day I got funny. It was, oh my God, and it's funny now. So I hope she never sees this episode or never sees this show. This episode of the show. Because my brother is married to her now. But they were kids when they met, my sister-in-law. And man, they used to give me the business. And I don't know what it was about this day, but this day I woke up and I said, I'm going to be funny. And I'm going to be so funny that nobody even tries to pick at me because I'm going to out roast anybody. So I remember I started clowning my brother's girlfriend. And I'm talking about, we still kids at this point. Me and my brother, I remember this so vividly. We still had bunk beds. And I to this day, I still don't know how these had scratches. He had the top bunk. It was scratches on the ceiling that I didn't even understand how they got there. But man, listen, I swore it was her toenail scratching the ceiling. I called the mailbox head. I gave her the business. I don't even know. She was catching all types of strays. Because she ain't even had no reason. I just knew this what I knew. I knew my brother liked her. And it's hard to get my brother to like people. And he don't care if you pick at him. That don't bother him. He do care if you pick at the ones he loves. That bothers him tremendously. So I'm roasting this girlfriend, calling the mailbox head, talking about she's scratching on the I appreciate that. So it doesn't show on the screen, but somebody said, I'm gonna need you to go on Twitch or something so it can show on the screen. If I don't hear you with my hands, I hear you with laughter, or both. Definitely, we gonna laugh. But I'm calling her mailbox head. I'm wearing her out. My brother got so mad. This is how I know I was funny. He got so mad. He just picked me up over his head. Now, my brother, again, is 6 years older than me. He literally picked me up over his head, slammed me down to the ground, and then stood on my head with both feet. Even my cousins were shocked. So after he decides to stop standing on my head, because I'm in like the 4th grade, I just get up. It's like getting a butt whooping. You get that butt whooping, you just go ahead and go to sleep. So I go ahead and go to sleep. But the point of the story is to see how tricky trauma could be and how easily it shows itself in plain sight. And if we are not aware that our responses are trauma-based, we may be unfortunately continuing the cycle of trauma, right? So now I know, even though I can make most any situation humorous, there's a space to allow for grieving and healing and not humor. Right? So take some time and think about your own life. And think about how trauma may have attached itself to you, and you now label it as who you are, whether it be emotional disconnection from your careers, whether it be the uneven scales of deciding on what's good about you or how you're such a good person based on traumatic relationships. Think about the advice that you give or have received. Is it one, or is it advice that promotes growth and healing? Or is it advice to avoid and fear? Think about the tools that you developed to navigate your own family dynamics and how those things that have become a part of who you are may have their grounding in trauma. So, on this healing process, something that we all need to really try to be aware of as well is the opportunities to assess how far we've come in our own journey. And it's wild because it's kind of like you're in the midst of the fight. So you can't necessarily see what is all going on, right? So you got to either ask people who can tell you what you were once was, or in your process, you're going to have to either assign times where you pause and assess, or be aware enough of those times where life gives you the opportunity to reassess. So over the last couple of weeks, I was out of town last week while we didn't have this show. I was actually in a place I used to live. I lived for 6 years before I moved back home. A place called Sampson County. And going back to Sampson County was an opportunity for me to be able to assess how far I've come. The last major event of me living in Sampson County was the passing of my father. And on top of that, I did ask a woman to marry me, and found out at that point that she was cheating on me. And it's crazy because in that situation, I never really realized the trauma of it. I knew it was trauma, but I never really realized the trauma of it until I realized I was not even utilizing music the same. I've always loved music. It's always been a key to my soul. And then I had to think about why I was no longer using music the same. Music is like, if there's a way to describe my heart, music would be one of those words. And if you ever get me to the place where I'm sharing my sounds with you, whether it be the new sounds that I'm learning or music with you regularly, that is almost akin to me giving you my heart. And once I went through all that with my ex-fiance, she was probably the last person that I'd say that I actually really shared my love for music with her, right? And then after that relationship, it was just kind of raw emotion where even listening to music would just make me, I don't even know. It depends. And at the point of healing, I didn't have enough control over my emotions. Even the thought and idea of going back to that place would create anxiety inside of me. But two things I noticed that is the assessment of how far I've gone. Going back into that area, I did not feel any anxiety or nervousness at all. And that is weird. Because I'm one of those people that I don't even care what it is. I can do it every week and I still get a little bit of jitter. For lack of better, I'm one of those people that get the nervous poops. So for a game, for a big event, I gotta go to the bathroom. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. But leading up to going down here, I was not nervous at all. Which was interesting. And then that made me think about music. Like it had got so bad, I'd just be that dude riding in silence. And it was funny because I talked to her one time. She was like, that sounds crazy. It is. Then I upgraded to, oh my God. I went from silence to NPR. I listen to NPR all the time. And now we're back at music. So it allowed me, going back down there, allowed me to assess how far I'm here. I no longer even care. The anxiety is no longer there. My love for music has returned. And that's a testament to the work that we've done. Also allowed me to assess some of my dating experiences. See, the thing about this healing, we could say that we're doing all this work. We can know that we're doing all this work. But life is going to give us an opportunity to test and see how far we've gone. Will we really make the same decisions we used to make or no? So, woo. It also gave me the opportunity to assess dating on several different levels. But one that specifically is, and I think a lot of us may have fell victim to this at one point of our life, that when the relationship doesn't end the way that we thought, we internalize that as a reflection of maybe we weren't good enough. And I swear to God, I've been having the opportunity to be able to see who some people pick that did not choose me. And it's a sobering realization that most of us, whether we're conscious of it or not, pick and endure exactly what we think we deserve. We'll run from goodness into the familiar toxicity that we've built all these tools up to help us to survive and endure. We're way more equipped to navigate those waters than healthy waters. So when we start working on ourselves, life gives us the opportunity to strengthen the new skills. And it's about being aware and taking a perspective new. And the perspective that allows you to not internalize some of those romantic or relational traumas is the understanding that whether if people are conscious of it or not, they pick exactly what they think they deserve, which is why it can be a very slippery slope if we are basing how good we are as a mate, a partner, a friend on those trauma-based relationships. So I know for me, I really did internalize it. Like, why didn't they choose me? But essentially, like I said, that understanding gave me the gift of freedom because there were going to be things that I needed that I would like to do. There'll be things that you need that you would like to do that person is not equipped to give, nor will they do the thing that we're doing right now, getting to a healing energy that promotes growth and strengthening and recognizing that you have the tools. They will never do that. So do not internalize someone picking what they think they deserve as a reflection of you, except for when you're the one doing the picking. The relationships you pick and endure are a reflection of what you think you deserve. Excuse me, thirsty. Let's see what else. Um, Hold on. Did I get a donation? It didn't pop across the screen because we got a little. Let me check real quick. Oh, what is this? Oh man, get out of here. So now I gotta delete that. Who's this on Facebooks? Yeah, man. I gotta put up a couple of more protection things, so we won't have too much of that. Cause brother, unfortunately, banned from stream and block. All right. Technology at its finest. Boop, 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 be doop, boop. All right. So, one thing that I've learned that I'm still working on that is an area of growth is one that is one that I struggle with hard a lot. And it is allowing people I love and care for to make mistakes. And one reason this is important to me because it directly affects the healing that we do or that I support that you do. And when it comes to the people I love, I'm just like my brother. I really don't want, you can't talk too much trash about the people I love. I don't want them to hurt. I don't want them to make mistakes. And essentially, sometimes I don't even want them to make the choices for themselves that they need to, because I can tell that they aren't going to be the best. And I had this opportunity because a friend came to me about a very specific situation, and she's dating, and she wanted to talk to the guy about something. And one of the gifts of this energy thing is I can read energy. The curse of this energy thing is I can read energy. And just something is awry as it relates to this dude. And there's an emotional connection there, which I'd understand. And for me, I don't want my friend to get hurt. And I want to scream and shake her and tell her, you deserve so much more. Do not settle for this. You don't have to. You deserve so much more. Do not settle for this. You don't have to. But unfortunately, we all have our own journeys, and we all have our own crosses to bear. So as people who love these individuals, we have to give them the space to create their own life experiences, their own choices and decisions. And that's a difficult one for me. And I'm glad that I was afforded this time to reassess where we are in the healing, because this is a time for you to assess where you are and see what areas of your journey still need a little work. Okay. So I think that's pretty much all the main meat that I wanted to talk about. And I do want to talk a little bit about what you said. We're going to start talking about book club. And this is going to be brief because I guess Thursday I'll start taking notes or something like that. I don't know. I'll write down questions. But we're reading The Alchemist. And I think it really does tie into our healing journey. For one, this idea of personal legend. And two, how our journeys traumatize us and we believe that that is now who we are, right? So in this book, there's this idea of a personal legend, and we all have one. Your personal legend is who you wanted to be before the fractures in the timelines, before the traumas, before the things that changed the direction that you were heading in. Hey, pretty black girl. I know you're not just joining that get off time. We talking about what's perfect time, because we talking about what's the book we reading again? I don't know why I keep leaving my mind. The Alchemist. So it's what you wanted to be before you adjusted to endure the life that the hand that you were dealt. So I know when I was a kid, my personal legend was probably it was funny, man. I really wanted to be a hammer dancer. And I was pretty convinced that I was going to marry Whitty Hutton. I was certain of these things. Now, I don't think I can be a hammer dancer now, although he still goes on tour sometimes, so he might need me. And we know I can't marry Whitty Hutton now. But I think in my dream and imagination, there was something there. And the core of what I've ever wanted to do is be in a position to be able to help people. And as much as I don't like the spotlight, being in the best position to be able to guide and help people require that. And the ironic part of this story is how easy it is for us to give up on our personal legend, even when we think we are chasing our personal legend. So there's two stories in the book so far where we're at that really define this idea of we think we're going after a goal, and the goal we're going after is taking us further away from our goal. I think about that J. Cole line. It's one I promise you, I told somebody that when I first heard this line, it hit my spirit like he was talking about me. And I tried to ignore it because the truth of it is very weighty. But that man said, the good news is you came a long way. The bad news is you went the wrong way. And in my life and career, specifically in my career, I had came a long way. But when I lost that job, way before I stopped working that job, I realized that that was not the path I needed to be on. And the only reason that I was going to stay on that path is because I've already been on that path. That path was taking me so far from who I envisioned myself. Because although I'm helping people now, the person I had to be in that position or in that path to be able to help people was not a very good person. And it was crazy because that was the path I thought I needed to take. So the two stories in there in the book that really talk about how our lack of awareness on our path or our own goals can keep us further. So it's a story, the main character, I forget his name, he winds up meeting a man and they sit on this bench. Now, the main character is a shepherd, and he had the opportunity to go to seminary school, and his parents wanted him to be that. But he loved to travel. He wanted to see more than where he lived. And for the time period that he was in, the only way that he could travel like that was to be a shepherd. Right? And in the story, he loves that because he gets to travel. In theory, he gets to travel. So as he's sitting on the bench with this older man, they're having a conversation, and the conversation goes into the idea of the personal legend that we just talked about. And he brings up a baker across the street because remember, the shepherd wanted to travel, right? That was one of his goals. The baker is also another person that loved to travel. But because being a shepherd was not a perceived as a stable career. He chose to open a bakery, and his idea was to put money to the side so when he was older, he could travel. And the thing about that is the baker's main goal, his first goal was to be a traveler. And his concerns and fears of how he would be perceived, of the lifestyle that would allow him to travel, kept him from taking that risk when he needed to. So now he postponed his own dreams, his own personal legend, till a time that may never come. And then the story of the shepherd. The shepherd winds up getting some readings, and they're telling him he needs to go to Egypt to see the pyramids, and he is going to be rich if he does this. And the shepherd, a person who became a shepherd because he wanted to be able to travel, was stricken with fear. And he himself was about to box himself into the illusion of traveling when he was still in his neck of the woods. So all that to say is, one, did we give up on our personal legends? Two, are we going the wrong way? All right. I feel like that was a good night, family. That's an hour. We done jaw jacked. We got it in. I'm excited. Thursday we'll continue. What is it? I don't know why I keep forgetting what this book is called. I can turn the music up now. Boop, 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 boop. I wonder if it's even playing. The Alchemist. Yes. The Alchemist. So we will start with The Alchemist on Thursday. I'm excited about that. I think next Tuesday we might move into the power of suggestion and how that is used to program our mind. So then we can also use the power of suggestion to reprogram our mind. Right? Okay, hold on. Because I know I got too much going on, family. I told you it's been crazy trying to get that thing to work. And now it actually works. I'm excited. Extremely excited. So I thank you for your time. I thank you for your support. See you Thursday for book club. If you feeling gutsy and you want to join the chat, don't be afraid. You can join it. Not join the live. Excuse me. Wow. I forgot I got so much going on. We'll do that too. But family, enjoy the rest of your evening. And I'll see you Thursday or next week. Peace.